Fellas, we covered the negative. Let's stay positive now. In this video, I'll talk about what I like about this truck and why I like this truck so much. It's quite honestly, it's a wonderful truck. I really enjoy this truck. There's a few things that really stand out to me. Hopefully I don't forget one, focusing on the other, but top three that come to mind is the efficiency, fuel efficiency. Second one's the tuning. The way this engine does its thing is phenomenal. And third one, I do not know how to explain this one, but it's there. I have no idea. It's ride quality, not so much front line, butt feeling or impressions, how this thing handles. I still stand. It handles a little better than the Cummins or the Ram, a little worse than the GMC, but when it's loaded, it has this feel like the tires are just inflated, which I've checked them twice, they're not. So it kind of gives you the wrong impression. But what really surprised me is it doesn't wear you out. I'm still on my journey coming back from Florida. Obviously, I'm cruising at 82 miles an hour in Montana. I think speed limit's 80. And 80, where's it right there? Yeah, it does it phenomenally. I did notice once you crest the 76, 77 miles an hour, it drastically, guys, I know speed affects gas mileage, fuel mileage, right? But it drastically affects this number. 16.3, that's what I've been getting. And I had to recently reset it because this Ford has a glitch. At about 1,500 miles of not resetting your average, that's what happened twice on this trip. At 1,500 mile mark, it first time it showed 0.1 miles to the gallon, and then this time it showed 0.0. So it kind of like over collects data and kind of freezes. I don't know how to label it, but it doesn't bother me. Just get in and reset it. Now, the whole fatigue thing or not being present, not wearing you out, I don't know how it does it, guys. It does it phenomenally. And believe me, Washington to Florida is a solid cross-country trip. And take it for what it is, how it is, but it does not wear you out. If you own both, you probably know what I mean. I did not see this one coming. It caught me off guard. And it's just like, that's that, okay? The truck doesn't wear you out compared to the Ram. Ram end of the day, you feet beat in a way. They call it jet lag from flying. I'd call it getting beat by driving all day. Okay, so I couldn't stress that more how impressed I am with it. It doesn't ride like a Cadillac, but it gives me my feeling of my Escalade. End of the day, I'm not tired driving that thing all day. Same thing with this Ford. It just completely caught me off guard. Now, back to the fuel mileage. As long as you're reasonable with it, the aerodynamics of this truck, of any truck, I could see it drastically being affected. This one is affected more than the Cummins are. So as long as I kept it under 75, I saw 20, 21. Once I started pushing 80 and some change, right now I'm in a 65 zone, so set the cruise at 69, 68 kind of scenario. I'm always pushing, 3 to 4 miles over just to get the edge on the GPS, but at the same time not to piss off any law enforcement, as if going 10 miles over on a wide open road is going to bother somebody. But I've actually seen people pulled over and just begs to ask the question why, and a couple guys got him pulled over around me, and it's like, dude, the guy was just driving, what are you picking on him for? Something weird, but I'm not going to get on that topic. Fuel efficiency is more than reasonable for a Ford. I do drive it in eco when I'm not hauling anything, but fuel efficiency, right? Next thing, I want to go back to the whole comfort thing. I wouldn't call it generic comfort. It's not the seat of the feel in the driver's seat, right? It still feels like a truck. It has that jarring effect of it as a truck, but you're not beat, so that's what I'm underlining there. What I wanted to put alongside of that is the door. The door is big, and the opening is much further wide. It's a wider opening. It's more open. I can't describe it anyway. When you open this door, it's easier in and out. That's what it relates to. You slide in and out of the seat easier, more freely, less constraint. GMC was worse. Ram wasn't bad. It never bothered me. Never really stood out to me, being poor or good. This one just wide open. Which is nice. You slide in and out, which is cool. I guess I am getting old, so I'm starting to notice those things. Now, talking about getting older, noise is another thing. It's really quiet. It's really quiet in this cab. Not complaining whatsoever, but if I were to say two sources of most sound would be the roof. For some reason, here, let me try to point the camera. I do not have a sunroof, and it's louder than average truck with a sunroof, so I don't know. I mean, it definitely has padding, but I feel, well, I don't feel the wind. I clearly hear the wind on the rooftop, which is kind of odd. Then the next one is the seal. I'm guessing because the door is so big, it does not look misaligned or anything. Because the door is so big, it kind of like on a good pothole, on a good bridge joint, meaning a rough one, you could hear wind coming in. So I can imagine it's going to be fairly poor once this thing hits some serious mileage and age. Now the next thing, what did I say? I said comfort, fuel mileage, and shoot, what was the third one, man? I told you guys I'd forget it. The highlights of this truck. I can't remember. Well, that sucks. Hey guys, if you're hearing my kids in the background, just know Mama got taken care of them. They're in good hands. Man, what is that third one? I forgot. But anyways, so overall, I'm really happy with this truck. Like the way it handles the road, the way it handles itself. Less fatigue. I mean, I don't feel tired at all from the road, and that really surprised me. And I put in some miles. Wasn't anticipating to come back home as quickly as I did. I was planning on hanging out in Florida longer and then going up to Carolina, seeing some family and friends. Got a few calls. I'm darting back to town. In a perfect world, I'll be back in Florida here in about a month, so we'll be alright. We'll be alright. Hey, my partner in crime, did you guys see that? 23 charcoal colored F350, F350. Head on, we just missed it. Anyways, fellas, so I wanted to stay positive. Don't want to give you this vibe that Paul hates Fords. Up until these 23s, I just stayed away from Fords. Ram has done a number in 22 and 23 that they're making me look at these 23 Fords, and I am impressed, guys. Not a Ford guy by any means, but I am impressed. I'm really happy with the way this thing handles. Overall, how it handles its business, And the thing is, the cab seems to be bigger and all this jazz, but it's not. If you measure the Ford and the crew cab and the Ram, they're within an inch. One's wider, the other one's taller, something like that. What it comes down to is these seats, and at a quick glance, they feel very thinned down compared to the Ram, right? And first thing that comes to hand is your comfort's going to struggle, right? Less cushioning. It's going to be a rougher ride, rougher seat. But no, the ingenuity in that's what I forgot. The tuning of this truck. That was the third one. We need to go back. Hopefully I don't forget it. But let's finish the ingenuity behind this truck. They got new people on the team. Whoever it is, whatever they are, guys, just focus on this box. Get this box of crap out of here. Other than that, it's perfect. That's what we need to talk about. The seatbelt, that stuff's annoying. But anyways, so the team, there's guys that join the team, and you could read between the lines. They're innovative, they're progressive, and they're much better. They're definitely taking this company in the right direction. What I have to underline, quality, build quality is far better in this 23 compared to what I've seen in the previous years from Ford. We actually got to experience a 17 brand new for the from the dealer lot, pretty much behind the gooseneck was hooked up to it, up to 300,000. That truck was using the company, and there was questionable things with that truck, the fit and finish. But this 23 is phenomenal, guys. I can't say enough good things about this truck, and it just sounds weird. It feels weird to me, but I have to give credit where it's due. It's just such an awesome pickup truck, and it's hard to translate it at times, but that's what it is. Now back to tuning. The range, I was specifically talking about power, so take a look at that. So the ability that this truck has to pull you out of a tight spot, I'm talking about power band here. No, it's not a 6.7 coming scream till you're blue in your face that this Ford is. No, it doesn't. This Ford does not have the low end, despite its 500 horsepower and 1200 torque. It does not have the brutal low end of a 6.7 Cummins. But what it has is really fine tuning. The mid, the Cummins can't touch this mid and high end, but the low end, the Ford can't touch. But even though the low end isn't brutal, this truck fights. She's a fighter, guys. She just fights and fights, and she will pull out that scenario very properly tuned. When you hit the cruise, if it decreases in speed too quick, it will downshift before that 2 miles an hour. But if it's slowly losing speed, the way this truck's tuned, it will not downshift until it's 2 miles an hour less. Where it'll drop 2 gears, put itself in power band, and rock you up that hill. It is phenomenal. You can't come up with something better. I'm the guy that kind of likes to look into tuning and stuff, and usually, off the lot, you're like, man, I wish they did this, and I wish they did that. And this one, the only thing I'm gonna say, I wish they did better on the exhaust brake. But I'll stay on a positive note here. To wrap up this Ford, the thing that just pushes me over the edge with this Ford is the exhaust brake. That's it. There's nothing else about this truck that I absolutely hate. Okay, so we're done with the negatives. Stay positive here. The tuning. Okay, the tuning on this truck is far ahead of its time. I bet you money this is Ford's future for the next 5-6 years. I don't think Ford's gonna go anywhere from this, because the ability that it has to pull, even on those long, hard pulls. Keep in mind, man, I was just hauling a heavy load. It will pull that it will climb that hill at proper speed, meaning speed limit, and it will pull that hill for long, and it will keep itself in check. Not my check, but its self-check. And what I mean by that, I'll see the oil creep up 230, 231. It lights up that. Not that it doesn't turn on the fan, but low speed isn't enough. It'll light up that fan, put it in high gear, and drop the oil temp, the coolant temp. Coolant goes up to Lord help me remember, 214. It kind of goes in its mid-range. 217, it full throttles that fan and brings its coolant down, so it can manage thermally. It is far ahead. This setup can handle more power, and that's what I like. I like when things are overdeveloped, over-engineered, and gets things done. It really does, and it's exciting to see that. It's exciting to see Ford putting in gear and freaking kicking butt with their platform, their V8 platform. At this point, if I were to buy Ford vehicles for my company, they would only be HOs. Until you ride both of them, and go for a long trip like I did, and I was heavy. For an average Joe, I was fairly heavy. You're really not gonna be able to tell or quote unquote appreciate that HO. That's really what it comes down to. But once you put her to work, it really shines, and that's definitely.
Head northwest.
All right.
Keep right at the fork.
Anyways, fellas, I need to wrap up this
Continue on US 93 north for 3/4 of a mile.
Wrap up this video. I need to put some fuel in the slip tank. I might or might not be hauling quite a yacht here in about half an hour. I'll share that video with you another time. They say if you got a trailer, you'll get a lot of friends, but in my case, it's a truck. I got a friend of a friend that owns anyways, long story short, this thing's reached me from Alaska, so I'll share that story when it comes up, if it comes up. Other than that, guys, I'm excited for this truck. More to come. There's fairly interesting things that are going to happen with this truck here in the near future, and I'm excited to share that as well. Anyways, As always, may the Lord bless you. May you all mighty fine day. And ciao. Bye.
Head northwest.